I'm gonna have to, it says it's asking me to leave and come back to get my video.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, leave. I'll let you right back in there, Mark.
Okay.
So for everybody who's watching the recording, it is May 14th, 2021. RJ's in Reno, Nevada, and I am here at the office, and we're doing a lot of deals and making things happen. We did our level 10 meeting. That's why we enjoy Fridays to have these calls, because it's fresh on our mind. And we had a huge week last week of generating leads, and that's going to be a big topic of conversation, probably for Mark as well. We'll be introducing Mark. There's Mark. What's up, Mark?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Good, man. So I was just sharing. RJ's in Reno. I'm here in Columbus at the home office, and we had a really big week. So I'm looking forward to getting into a lot of kind of what happened this week. But a lot of that has to do with lead generation. You know, a lot of the people in the group, in the community right now, one of the biggest value adds that we're able to provide is like how we're generating leads and then what we're doing with the leads. Because in this market, if you can't get leads, if you don't have opportunities, then you can't really take it to the next level. You can't buy anything. I mean, anyone can raise money, anyone can structure a deal, anyone could buy low, sell high. But if you don't have a lead, if you don't have, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, that's kind of the foundation of the whole thing. But we had a big week. I'm looking forward to sharing all that. And that's like most of the wins that I have. And I want to kind of start our calls with wins, either personal or professional. So I'll send it over to, this is how we start our team meetings, our company meetings. But RJ, do you have any wins that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a big deal on from the, you know, marketing that we've done. And I think this was, I'm pretty sure the one down in Cincinnati was from either a direct mail piece where we're targeting the $250,000 to $500,000 price point of homes, because in this market, as everybody's seeing, there's not a lot of inventory, even in those higher price markets. Now, you know, when you're seeing it in like affordable housing, you know, it's like, okay, there's a lot of opportunity here to bring off-market deals to the MLS, to wholesale or retail. And so we are switching. We adjusted our marketing just last week after our Friday meeting, and we quickly saw results from that switch. And we have a house that we're doing we're probably potentially going to either wholesale it or take it down. Most likely, we'll probably take it down. It's a $550,000, you know, $1,000 raise for us. We're going to use private capital, but the intention there, because the home is probably worth around $850, is to do cosmetic rehab where you're in and out of it for less than a week and putting it back on the market to sell in the MLS. Because those homes right now, I know, because we're also looking for homes in that 500 to 600 range. It's hard to get those homes right now. They're getting overbid 30 to 40K over listing price. So the win this week is that we adjusted our marketing and saw results this week, which is fast. Dave and I always talk about like implementing things now, doing it now, at least getting somewhat of a rough draft out there, you know, like it doesn't have to be perfect. Small steps towards making changes is better than no steps, you know, so that's a win. So this house, we're probably looking at 150 to 200K spread. And it was about, you know, tweaking where our targets were on marketing. What about you, Mark?
Yeah. So, in what I'd like you to do, I took some notes here. I wanna go back to what RJ's talking about. That'll be good stuff to talk about. But Mark, this is your first time hopping on a call with RJ and I, and you know, people tend to kind of come in and out and whatnot on these particular calls, but we've got a lot of feedback on the recordings. But why don't we start out with just having you introduce yourself and kind of what you are currently up to, and then what you're looking to do, and we can kind of build off that too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm coming from the nonprofit world. Most of my career has been in nonprofit work, and was working in the anti-human trafficking space for a number of years at Grace Haven. And then I was at Star House working with homeless youth. And then I transitioned to working with another property developer, flipper, for about the last, I don't know, 18 months or 19 months. And I just broke off from them. Well, broke off is not a good way to put it. Separated from them, went off on my own at the end of January. Got my real estate license, and I'm really just trying to do my own flips and BRR and get started. So I'm really kind of at the beginning level in terms of like doing something on my own after having worked with somebody else for, I don't know, 20 months or whatever. So I think the win for me is finding this group, because I really feel like I need some good mentoring, need some good ideas. I need accountability a little bit. And um, yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, you got two of the best right here with you, helping you out. So
Yeah.
we do a shitload of transactions. And
We-
then I want to get back to kind of RJ's win of the, how we adjusted our marketing, but like just kind of like feeling you out on like where we're at, so we can kind of clear up any terminology, because RJ threw around several terms and stuff. But what we have found in our business and what has allowed us to acquire a number of properties and then also flip a ton of properties, and then also, kind of we do the wholesale and the whole tail, and we're going to kind of like talk about that. But we've been able to scale much faster by not taking on the big rehabs, not taking on the massive rehabs, because as you know, there's a lot of capital and a lot of time that goes into those. So we have found the most success in what RJ had mentioned, hey, we found one here, good margin, cosmetic rehab. That's music to our ears. The cosmetic rehab stuff allows us to take less risk and move faster. So in our business, and then what RJ was talking about, we adjusted our marketing. I'll kind of clarify what that means. But historically, we have really targeted the affordable housing market. So we're not really buying a lot of the stuff in Old Town East and stuff like that. That's not our business model. We're going after stuff that has a good rent to value ratio, meaning, let's pretend that it's the value of the property, which we say ARV, after repair value of the property, is say 150, and then we could rent it for like 1,500. That's a good rent to value ratio. When you get into these properties that are going for like 650,000 ARV, what's the rent on that sucker? 3,500 maybe? That's 3,500.
Tops, yeah.
As you see, like the proportions are much better and the returns are much better on that affordable housing type model.
Yeah.
So when we can find affordable houses, affordable priced or valued houses at really good prices and deep discounts that don't need a ton of rehab, we're buying it all day. Like that's the model. So I think we can expose you to, just a different way of looking at real estate, is in contrast to where you came from a little bit. And then kind of what RJ said is, we adjusted our marketing. So what that means is, as I mentioned, we're historically going after those affordable housing type deals. The value is going to be like 225 and under just in our market. But now we kind of are seeing the demand for higher priced homes. So we adjusted our marketing by adjusting our data, right? About the data, that's where the leads come from. So when you're doing a marketing campaign, which we can help you out and set it up, and I've already posted that in the group. Historically, we've always targeted data with lower values, but we're like, shit, there's so much demand pent up out there, like for housing. Let's go after the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 houses too. So we still are kind of avoiding these gigundous rehabs. Those ones, we're not going to take the risk of buying the property and like manage the rehab. But if we can find, even a higher ticket home, we're seeing that the demand is out there. If we can find one and get a deep discount and it doesn't need a huge rehab, that's what RJ was saying. We have seen the biggest spreads on stuff where we can just get away with a cosmetic rehab. We like the lower rehab stuff simply because it allows us to move quicker. That's it. It's lower risk to move fast. You know, we're not paying contractors to fix foundations, stuff like that.
Yeah.
When we find stuff that needs too much work, we found the most success in just wholesaling that to somebody else, you know, giving them a deal. So are you
Yeah,
kind of, go ahead, RJ?
yeah, like if you make 100K in a year's worth of time of doing a deal, it's just not worth it, right? Or you can make 50K or maybe even 100K if you just did a short rehab listed on the market.
Yeah.
You see what you see that, Mark? So
yeah, the biggest takeaway for you from our group and RJ and I's guidance is going to be how to find off-market deals, and that's really what we preach to the community to help anyone who's getting rolling. And you haven't been exposed to it, but that is how you do this thing. That's how you do business. So you're looking to flip homes on your own. Do you already have some private money or personal capital or something like that, that you can pull?
Yeah, we got some private money.
If you found a good deal.
Personal, yeah.
Good. Do you also have, you know, access to, you know, a way to check comparables? So, you know, so you know your market a little bit. You have access to MLS or something
Yeah.
like that? Perfect.
Yeah, I just got licensed back in the
Oh,
beginning.
that's right. Yeah, duh. You said that. So really the money's in the data, and we've, you know, we're very open about the data we're using as well. We share it with you. I don't even care if you're buying stuff. But were you able to check out any of the services from the resources I posted? Like the one was like PropStream, or I think they got a different. That's kind of a good starting place for you, I think, is like kind of understanding on how this all works. And I'm going to share my screen if I may, and then I want to kind of look at some deals.
I'm sorry, did you say Prop Dream?
PropStream, but it might go under a different it might go under a different name, but I'm going to share my screen here really quick. RJ, what do you got going on out there? You by the lake, or you by Lake Tahoe over there?
So today we're in Squaw Valley, which is a little town near Tahoe, the lake, and we're going to go up the gondola and see what's going on up there in the mountain.
Nice.
Really nice out here. It's like 70 degrees. The sun's shining, so it feels a little hotter, but it's still kind of, you get that wind, that mountain wind. So it's still a little bit of a chill in the air, but the sun's beating down on you, so it's perfect. It's a beautiful place.
Don't forget the sunscreen.
Don't forget the sunscreen, yeah. So,
all right, hang on a second. I'm going to share my screen. So here's the community. Sorry, I know people have been hitting me up. I got 17 notifications right now. It's been a very busy day for me, but this is what I want you to find, Mark, and everybody as well. Thank you for the good comments, Jorge. I'm going to tag you in this post, Mark. So, and then I'm going to pull it up and and I want everyone in the community, when you watch the recording of this video, it's going to be valuable information, because this is like really the starting, and this is like a lot of good stuff. So, and this is everything that we use. So everything that you see here is stuff that we have signed up for ourselves, negotiated the same price, everything, right? And what I'm showing you here, Mark, are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is what I was talking about. It's called REI Automator, or I think it used to be called PropStream, or it still is. It doesn't matter. But this is a source for data leads, right? It all starts and ends with the data, and then also another source for data, which we use both, is batch services, batch leads. So what I am showing you here, between these two things, you have access to be able to purchase lists. So costs a little money, you get a bunch of spreadsheets. And once you get those spreadsheets of like the leads and the data, then you want to do, and what we do is a a skip trace. Are you familiar with the term skip trace, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do the big skip trace and you get all the phone numbers and kind of organize your data. And that's what we do with Batch as well, is we do list stacking. So it's very easy to purchase lists from them and then kind of, organize it. So these are vacant properties. This is my prop stream data. This is my divorce data. I don't know, right? Whatever. So you organize it within Batch. You can skip trace it through Batch, and then they actually offer texting services as well, and you can do text campaigns. A lot of people are doing that. I think some people are not comfortable with that. We have a lot of success with cold calling. So once you have the data, like here is the cold calling service we use. It's called Call Tools. And then once we kind of get leads, we've been able to scale it. So we started out just RJ and I, but we've built our team up and we use virtual assistants to make the calls for us. And we found our virtual assistants from this place, Rocket Station, which we have a link for them as well. They'll know that we sent you. And then, I mean, there's even tools to like manage the VAs, but that's like the evolution of the business, right? It's like getting the data, turning the data into leads, evaluating the leads, managing the data, and then getting deals, right? And then you go on an appointment, you get a contract, you buy one, was never listed. So we're going after motivated sellers, right? We don't want the people who are just, she's wonderful, an amazing woman, but I want the stuff that nobody else has or is going for sale. So you got to find those motivated sellers. And, that's why we do a lot of direct mail. We do a lot of the cold calling big time. And we do the texting as well. And then, we got some online presence. We're doing some PPC, but honestly, like if I was just starting out, the last thing you need to do, Mark, is like do everything. I'm just gonna blast it all out. I literally would just start with getting batch data and then skip tracing it and then start with some texting campaigns and get you on the phone with sellers every day. That's really the beginning place. RJ, would you agree? You might be busy. But Mark, how are you feeling about kind of like the game plan I'm laying out? What questions do you have?
Well, obviously it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work, right?
Yeah, man.
How many hours did you guys spend in marketing and trying to get new leads when you first started? Was that like the better part of your day, or?
As long as it takes
Yeah.
the deal, Mark.
Yes, it was. Yes,
you know
it was.
the answer. You know the answer, man. There's nothing easy.
There's no shortcut anymore, brother. I mean, and now you do have, like, you can hire out VAs to do the cold calling for you, but
yeah,
you're gonna have to close the deals. A VA is not gonna be able to do that. And if they do, I mean, a blind squirrel sometimes get a nut, but it's not a business.
Gotcha. What about buying from wholesalers? Is that a lazy man's way of trying to do this?
No. I mean, we're open to wholesalers deals, but a lot of them, I mean, they're not loyal to us. They're not gonna, give us a great deal. As soon as they find the next Joe Blow who offers them a nickel more, they're not loyal. They're gonna go and shop around, and because they deserve to make money though, if they legitimately found the deal and negotiated the contract, right?
Yeah.
So we're competing with the wholesalers on many levels because we're going after these same off-market motivated seller leads. I wouldn't be opposed to looking at one of their deals, but we have always found the most success at just getting after it and finding our own.
Yeah.
Like this week, Mark, we have a deal in contract with a wholesaler, right? And it came from, basically it came from a social media post or live we did, educating the market, saying, hey, I'm buying. So if if that is your specific route you want to take, you got to make sure that wholesaler and you have a good relationship and they know exactly what you can pull the trigger on. Because once I know with wholesalers, like they send you a deal, you don't close on it for some odd reason, then they're gonna go, like Dave was saying, there's no loyalty. They're gonna go to the next guy
Yeah.
because they gotta eat. You know,
Yeah.
they're all, it's eat what you kill. So, you know, that's why you got to do your own stuff, even if it's at a smaller scale and you're going hyper specific to a certain niche. Like
Mhm.
I just want to focus on probate or something, you know?
Mhm.
So there's,
Yeah, I've looked at quite a bit of wholesale deals and gone to visit a lot of houses in the walkthroughs. And the ones that have like 30 people showing up to walk through, those are the good deals. And then there's sometimes you go out there, there's only one person out there, and it's usually not a good idea because most of the ARVs that they're putting out there is way off. So I am motivated to get my own stuff going because the whole finding wholesale deals has been pretty frustrating so far. I've only been at it for about 6 weeks, but
Yeah.
I agree. And that's, I think, where we can add a lot of value to what you're doing here, because that's really what we specialize in. It's just a competitive market out there, so we got to be proactive at finding the leads. We can't count on these guys. I wish we could. We'd spend a lot less money every month, man. Our marketing budget's freaking high. It costs us $1,000, but it doesn't need to be all crazy high for you because it's just one guy who's looking for deals. But when it comes to like niching down and going deeper before going wider, there's really like two niches. And like the first one is like geographically, right? So, your previous employers, they kind of had their niche, geographically, they knew they wanted to be, and they kind of like fixed the thing up. That was their model, right? So when it comes to like creating your business model, and that's like obviously price points, how much rehab you're looking to do, especially exit strategy and geography. Those are all very, very important things that we need to kind of help you maybe hunker down on, because like, let's get super clear on exactly what you're going after. And then once you find it, what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean? So have you given any thought as to kind of like what you're looking to do? I mean, are you looking to do the same thing that they do, which is the big rehabs? And that's totally fine too. If that's going to be like something that you're open to, just know that that one particular deal probably is going to take a long time.
Yeah, that's not what I'd rather do. I'd rather do smaller, more cosmetic flips.
Yeah.
And hopefully doing cosmetic rehabs that I could rent out, and get cash flow. That's my primary target.
Yeah. So you want to look at like the areas, and you've done enough on the work on the MLS, and you kind of know how to run comps already. So I would suggest really hammering down on deals, 350,000 and under. Because I mean, we could just send you to the wolves and say, look, just buy all the data, go after everybody. But now your cost is going up, right? Sometimes it's better to be a little bit more of a sniper than it is to be shotgun. I'm calling everyone in Franklin County. Well, it might spin you around a little bit. See what data is out there when you pull up PropStream or pull up Batch, and like target by zip code. So you kind of know the zip codes that are ridiculously expensive. You're not going to the best part of Westerville, best part of New Albany. We are, but we've just made that adjustment. I mean, we have 6 cold callers, Mark. So when you're first starting out, you're by yourself. I think it's less is a little bit more less, and more focused is better than like, I'm open to everything. Because we gotta help you probably focus so you can like actually work the leads that you get. Sure, you could buy the whole county, have fun. 30,000 leads, dude. It's like way too much. So I think, in my experience and opinion, kind of staying away from the super high end stuff for now is a good move. Because that doesn't
make sense.
Yeah, you want to have the most exit strategies as well. You're open to renting something out. You're open to, flipping something. Well, those don't even make good rentals anyway. We're targeting the
Yeah.
higher end stuff just to flip,
Mhm.
So you want to create a scenario where you have the maximum amount of exit strategies, and that's going to come in that affordable housing. I would say, 300 and below or whatever kind of, and then you want to start like toying with it where you look at how much the data costs. I don't even know what they charge anymore, 10 cents or something a record. You got to
Mhm.
play, right? Um, and your own budget. So it's like, okay, let me go everything 300 and below for now. And then it's like, whoa, that came back, X amount of records. And I'm looking at, well, it's 10 cents each. That's going to cost me this or whatever it is. Like if it's too much, start whittling it down. Be like, maybe I'll just
Mhm.
go 250 and below, you know? So
Gotcha.
you get a number that you're comfortable with that fits your budget, but still gives you like an ample amount of leads to give you opportunities. You're going to want you know, at least 20,000, just
Mhm.
you don't want to buy a list of like 100 people. I guess you could, it'd be super niche specific and like just target one zip code if you wanted to.
Mhm.
But it is a volume game at the end of the day too. So I'm just saying if you go the route of, just buying a couple hundred or something like that, you're probably going to burn through the data really quickly.
Yeah. What's your conversion rate on turning those leads into actual buys?
Great question. Let me pull that up, but it's low.
Mhm.
Mark, you also got to think of this too. Like you're just yourself. So is it manageable for you to put out and market to a list of 2,000 and start getting all of these calls? Can you manage that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because if you're not getting to these, then it's going to be a waste of your money.
Yeah.
So you got to really, you got to think of like how much time can you put into it, and then be very focused on that time to
Mhm.
get to be diligent, because you're going to have to follow up. Some of them aren't going to be ready. Then you got your new batch of leads that are coming, and you have all this follow up to do. It could you could get carried away. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then your follow up is not as strong because you got so many more leads coming in right into the phone call.
With the current market, are you guys finding that the motivation for people to sell for cash outside of listing it, is it higher now or just the same as always, or?
So we are coming at this with the message of it's like, hey, we'll buy your house for cash. So we sell convenience. The
Mhm.
biggest thing we sell is convenience, meaning like, hey, um, you could sell fast. You don't need a realtor. Work with us. You don't need a realtor. That's like the
Mhm.
message, right?
Yeah.
So somebody who's like, who does, we're seeking people here who need to sell, not just want to sell. So the person who contacts us or wants to work with us is looking for a solution that's really fast.
Mhm.
Just like, give me the quick cash. That's why, like, one of the first questions I had for you was like, do you even have money? And if not, we're open to JV and with deals too.
Mhm.
Especially you're in our market.
Mhm.
Um, so that is kind of the sales pitch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But getting back to your question, hang on one second. And for those watching at a later date, ladies and gentlemen, I am bringing to the call a special guest. We have the official lead manager of our business, Zeus Viamin. So, Zeus, welcome to your very first exposure to what RJ and I have been working on, which is a coaching call. And we have a coaching community, and we help other people who are looking to grow their real estate business or start their real estate business. And today we're talking about leads. And this is Mark. He's somebody in our community. And Mark had a great question about what is our conversion rate for, like, for instance, our cold calling. So what I want you to do is pull up the numbers as far as how many calls are made and how many leads are generated for last
All right,
week.
cool.
we did great on this last week, by the way. It was a big week. So we've been hovering around the 50s for 50 leads a week, and now we finally popped back up to 71. We like to be in the 70s for leads. And you have to understand, Mark, don't compare your numbers to ours because
Mhm.
right now you're a one-man show. How many cold callers do we got, Zeus? 5?
We got 4 cold callers.
Mhm.
Okay. So he's gonna, but all the numbers are relative. Everything's relative, right? So
Mhm.
um, we'll pull that up.
Yep, I have the scorecard pulled up.
All right, why don't you go ahead and share the screen?
All right, cool.
And by the way, Mark, this scorecard is under Mark and everybody. This scorecard is in the community available to you. I got rid of our names and stuff. You could add in your own people's names or just add your own name, when you're first keeping score here. But if you go to topics in the Cream community, under topics, under resources, you will find a copy of this scorecard so you can use in your own business. But go ahead, Zeus.
All right, cool. For this week, we made 3,200, 3,238 cold calls. This is the breakdown per agent. Yep, 826 for Honey, 885 for Jed, 648 for Sid. He's on the lower side because he's dialing a special set of leads, the niche list, and he's on Podio follow up. Plus, he's dialing manually. All the other cold callers, they're on the 800 plus side. That's like counted. I give them like I set it at a minimum of 150 calls. That's their target on a daily basis. And for Danny, for Maria, that's 879. We got a total of 73 leads this week.
Add up the total number of calls from the reps, and then we'll figure out what the conversion rate is.
All right, this is the total 3,200.
Oh,
33,200.
Mhm.
3238. So if we do 73 divided by 3238, it's like a 2.2% conversion rate,
Mhm.
which is cool because with our direct mail, do you happen to have our direct mail numbers on how many were sent and how many leads we got?
I don't have the exact number of how many
I know
direct
we're always
mail,
around 1%, 1/2% to 1%, and direct mail is ultimately more expensive cost per lead.
but we got a total of 17 direct mail leads this week, just for this week.
Yeah.
This is
So
the yep, sorry. This is the breakdown of all the leads sources. Yep.
Were all 73, were those all from cold calls or from direct mail and cold calls?
It's a combination of all the leads. The cold calls
Okay.
would
Oh, I see. Yeah,
be,
45.
yep,
Okay.
this one, 34, 45, and then 2. So that's a total of 47
Mhm.
total cold call leads.
Gotcha.
Mhm. All right. This is the breakdown of how many leads per cold call rep they pulled. So Honey had 18 leads. Jed had like he was crushing it, 19 leads
yeah,
this week. Yep, 11 leads for Sid, and for Danny, we got 13 leads.
how many contracts out of the 73 leads?
We got just for this week, we got 2 contracts. One came from a web lead, and another one came from a direct mail lead.
So out of 3238 total cold calls, but we don't have it broken down. But none came from the cold calls, correct?
The ones in contract for this week.
Yes.
Yep. It's from a web lead and from a direct mail lead.
Yeah, but none came from the 32, 38 cold calls that were made, correct?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, that is that's it for now. So thank you, Zeus. Mark, do you have any other questions for Zeus at the moment? Okay.
Good.
All right. Well, you guys have access to the scorecard as well, so
Yeah.
make sure you pull that up. Zeus, I think you're good to go at the moment. Now get your ass on the phone and go get a contract.
All right, will do. Will do. All right.
Take it easy,
Bye,
brother.
guys.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
All right. So that's just kind of like what we do. And then another thing, we got about 15 minutes left here, about 15, 20 minutes. What else we like to do here is kind of talk about what deals we closed and kind of do a deal review.
Mm-hmm.
We closed a couple deals today. So I would like to go through that with you guys. So that's a win as well. Is closing deals is always a win. All right. 1 second, please. How you feeling over there, Mark? You feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, or you feel like wow, or you feel like this sucks, or what? How you feeling?
No, I mean, this is stuff that I've read about in books and I've seen on Cream, and I think it's becoming a little bit more real. You know, people actually doing it.
Yep.
So it's exciting.
Good exposure, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell can't I log in Monday? Hang on 1 second, please. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right, give me 1 moment, please. All right, everybody, let's look at a deal. So here is the house that we closed on today, 2811 Tristram Place. And nice little house, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to, so purchase price was 106. Rehab was 16. And ARV, we calculated 207 to 218. So immediately, how we do this, Mark, the first thing we're looking at, pull it up here on the Zillow. So what we always do, we always talk in our company in terms of what is the all-in percentage. So do you got a calculator over there, Mark? We'll have an interactive show today.
Do I have a calculator?
Yes.
Yeah, let me grab it.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
It's just right over here.
Okay.
No, I thought it was.
No worries, no worries. So I'll tell you what I'm doing is I'm pulling it up on my calculator, and what I'm going to add up, everybody, is I'm adding my purchase price in the rehab. So 106,000 plus 16,000 puts me in at 122, and then divide 122. Zillow's got it at 218. We said 207, so I'll say on the high end 218, 123. I mean, we're all in this deal for 55 cents on the dollar. This is a freaking home run. Would you agree?
Yes.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
I love presenting these ones. So we're always looking in terms of all-in percentage. And the reason we're always talking about all-in percentage is because that helps us determine what we're going to do with the property. So when it comes to the BRRRR properties, we know that the bank is going to refinance us out at 75 cents on the dollar of the value. That's just the current banking programs. And so, when we find a deal and one of two things is apparent to us, either A, there's not a good rent to value ratio. For instance, the one that RJ was talking about in the beginning, I think the ARV's in the 700 or some, RJ, and then, what's it going to rent for? 2,000, 2,500. So it's not going to make a good BRRRR property because the rent to value ratio is completely out of whack. So if we see one where the rent to value ratio is favorable, like this one, for instance, let's just look at our rent comp here real quick. You guys, so 1585, that works for this deal, because when we're looking at it, I'm comparing the 1585 to what we're all into it for, which is 122, and 1585 is far greater than 1% of what we're all into it for. So we love the 1% rule, and it's either 1% of the value or 1% of your loan amount. So if we're all in for 122, 1% of that would be 1220. Well, 1585 crushes 1220. So it's like the rent to value ratio looks amazing. But then also the next thing we look at is what is the all-in percentage. So, with this particular one, we just added up the purchase and the rehab and then divided it by the value. And we came up with 55%. So if you can have a above 1% rent to value ratio and be all into the deal for less than 75% of the value, it's a no-brainer BRRRR opportunity for you. You see how we came up with this stuff?
Yeah. Okay.
So but we very easily could have not got a great deal on this. And what if we were all in for 80 cents on the dollar? So, what if we said 218,000 value times 80%? Let's pretend we're all in for 175. Well, it's probably not going to be a great rental property because we couldn't get it cheap enough. But are we going to say no to that deal, do you think? If we're all in for 80% of the value. So if we were all in for 174.
I mean, when you sell it, you're still gonna make
exactly. So it may not be a good fit for the BRRRR program.
30,
Yep, it might not be a good fit for the BRRRR program, but it'd be a hell of a nice little wholesale deal where we buy it, fix it up, turn around, and sell it for a quick profit. When we're determining what we're going to do with something, there's like three phases. There's like, number one is the geography. Is like, would we even want to own a property in this area? Well, this is a pretty good area. You know where that's at. Number two is, well, what is the rent to value ratio? If we buy this property, are we even able to make a positive cash flow on it? Well, this one we are, right? And then third and finally is like, well, what is our all-in percentage? And if a deal can check all those boxes, like, hey, we wouldn't mind owning in this area, we're all in for less than 75%, and the thing's going to cash flow because it's a good rent to value ratio, there's no reason we shouldn't be buying and holding that property. But let's pretend it's in a great rent. Let's pretend we have a great rent to value ratio and we're all in for 75%, but it's a shit area and we don't want to own properties over there. Well, let's just flip it.
Mhm.
Flip it and make a profit. We're not going to say no to the deal altogether. We always need to generate revenue.
Gotcha.
Or let's pretend our all-in percentage, like, hey, this particular one we just looked at, it's got a great area. We love the area. Rent to value ratio is good, but go back to our example. Let's pretend we had to pay more for it, so we can't be all in for 75%. Are we just going to walk away? No, we're going to still buy it, but we're going to turn around and flip it.
Mhm.
So, exit strategy is beyond what our wants and needs are. It's all about those three key factors: geography, rent to value ratio, all in percentage. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's look at where this deal came from. I'm curious now. RJ, you got anything to add on there? I know you're.
So this is a very good like area of town where we're looking at the majority of, like Dave says, an area that we want to keep. We like to keep in areas that have a good mix of renters and owners, you know, like
Mhm.
private ownership. If we had to exit out of this property, it'd be easy to do that down the road if we wanted to. But this one, this is a wholesale flip, you know? So it's just, again, just to reiterate what Dave is saying, just if you're going to put out the marketing dollars, when you have multiple exit strategies, you're going to be able to stay nimble in this market and take advantage of other opportunities, you know, and not just be solely focused on just flipping or buying and holding. You have to have a good mixture of both at the beginning.
Yeah. How'd you guys get this property so cheap?
We got it from a motivated seller, and I have it up now. It's from a cold call, so they
Mhm.
pull their weight. And we're coming out with, you know, some training, more like in-depth training to really talk the talk on like how to negotiate a real estate deal and get some really great deals. And I mean, I personally am not like, you know, trying to like sound something I'm not or anything like that, but we've been doing this so long that I personally would put myself toe to toe with really any acquisition specialist around the entire country of just like how to do it.
Mhm.
So we are going to put up like a paid training. It's going to be like, probably I'm going to put a lot of hours into like doing this, but, and you know, example calls and stuff like that. But you got to kind of know how to negotiate. You got to know how to pull the motivation out of them. You know, again, like I mentioned, we're working with people who need to sell, not want to sell. So it's a matter of learning how to delicately pull the motivation out of the customer without offending them, you know,
Mhm.
without like, because no one just wants to air out their dirty laundry. Um,
Right.
so there's a certain skill set, and like we've just kind of like done it. But if you ever have leads, and once you start marketing, you know, I'm happy to help you evaluate them. Probably not, we're gonna, you know, not call the seller on an open call like this, but I'm happy to help you bring it to a Friday call, and we can kind of maybe, or if you're starting to lose it, need a new voice on the phone, you're open to doing a JV deal or something like that. But really, it comes down to drawing out their motivation, finding out what their true needs are, and then meeting their needs, while still being able to get a good deal. And I will share this with you. We have found the most success at being the most transparent and being extremely upfront with these sellers.
Mhm.
Not this like car salesmanship, where it's not this like arm twisting, like, hey, let's bait and switch this person, and there's no way we'd be doing this for 10 years, right? So part of our delivery, Mark, is very upfront that like, hey, you know, we're cash buyers, you know, we're an investment company, we are here to make a profit, but it doesn't have to be at your expense. You know, we're looking for the best deal we possibly can. We're going to save as much money on the materials as we possibly can so we can still meet your needs. But we lose deals all the time too, Mark. You know, like for instance, we're working all the time. We get stuff in contract, they end up going with somebody else. Just, you know, so the
Yeah.
transparent way sometimes will get you some home run deals. This is a great one, but it's not like we're pulling these suckers down every day. I wish we were. It's just not feasible. So,
You go into it with a maximum in your mind of what you would pay for this property, and then hope try to get them to say the first number?
Yes. Yeah, we do. I mean, we're pretty much always trying to be all in 75%, but it really is just that old school. Let's get them to say a number first.
Mhm.
Got to. So that really is probably the biggest hurdle to overcome in this business, is getting them to say a number. And I think we do a really good job of that. And it comes down to like building some really strong rapport. And you'll get a number out of them. And if not, you start to work in ranges. Well, what if he starts saying, it starts to talk about ballpark ranges, and then you kind of, I compare it to like the gymnastics, right? Or the Olympics, where it's like sometimes like, you're flying around the air, and you throw that seller up in the air, they're flipping around, and you just try to get them to land on one foot. Just try to get them to land somewhere within a range of, so that's kind of how we do it, without offending the people, because, you know, it's just not that way. We're talking about buying houses here. This isn't buying handbags in New York City on the street. It's not that way. It's very relationship driven, very consultative selling. And consulting them through this, because they don't buy and sell houses every day. We do. So we understand the lingo, we understand the process, we understand all that. So really you got to dumb it down and slow it all down, because this is sometimes a little bit of a scary thing for these sellers. Would you agree, RJ?
Yeah, it's, and plus too, they're embarrassed. They're probably pissed off and embarrassed. So you can, we teach you how to diffuse the angry sellers, how to turn it around and make them start being your best friend after. Like Dave has a lot of phone calls where I've actually witnessed person's angry at the end of the call, he's enrolled them to be their best friend. It's crazy, but it's how you talk. It's how you come off. Like it's not like what you say, it's how you say it, right, Dave?
Yeah, it is. It's we call that sometimes, you got to do the hokey pokey and turn people around, and because I honestly, truly, Mark, come from a place of like, if I can't make this person's friend, there's no way in hell they're going to sell me the house. So before we ever get into the numbers or anything like that, the people got to kind of like you. They just got to kind of have a little rapport. One of the biggest mistakes that people make in this business when they're new is talking numbers too fast, as soon as it becomes about the business and talks about the money, it's like, now they're scared. That's the emotional stuff. That's the stuff. So we want to get to the why they're selling before we get to like even what they're selling, right? Because I don't care if it's a mobile home, a piece of land, or a single family house or an apartment. If the person doesn't have some kind of desire or motivation to sell, there's no way it's going to be a favorable deal transaction for you. So it's good to kind of establish that right off the bat. Like, and another thing we do really good, Mark, is we tell people, it's like, look, we've been doing this for quite a long time. We are proven and whatnot. I mean, you can word this any way you want, but it's like, look, we're going to be very upfront with you and tell you how we operate. And if at any time you just are uncomfortable or you just like don't want to work with us, would you please do us the courtesy of just letting us know upfront that you're just like, this is not a fit for you? And at the same time, if we feel we're not going to be an ideal fit for you, or you can even net more or do something better because you don't need to sell, you want to sell, well, we're going to go ahead and still help you out, because we're going to refer you to a great agent. Or you can say, I'm actually a licensed agent. I'm approaching you as a buyer right now. You didn't approach me as, but we're gonna do what is best for you in your situation. We just got to kind of find out what's going on, right. And then they're all gonna want to like, well, how much are you give me for it? And you can't give an honest answer to that because you've never seen the property. So there's a way to walk them through this, and we've just been doing it for so long. It just kind of is easy at this point, but we're really looking forward to really documenting it all out, giving the exact call flow of how this thing works. And that's something we'll be making available to the cream.
Cool.
Who's coming in? We got Juan, everybody. So, but I think we're covering a lot of really good stuff here. And
yeah, this has been super helpful.
Yeah, man. I want to see who this is. Is this Jorge? Is this Juan? We got people actually from all over the country. So we've got a pretty solid group, and everybody's kind of helping everybody else out. I love the the picture and the screen name, Mexican Sly, and he's got a sniper rifle. So
Hello guys, how you doing?
who's that, Juan?
No, my name is Julio Ortega. I'm brand new into the community.
Oh, hey Julio, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Sorry I was late. I misread and I thought it was 4 Central Time. I'm Central Time, and it was
It's
4
all
Eastern.
good. You're gonna find this. You're brand new, and Mark is on here. Mark, this is Julio, and Mark is kind of brand new as well. He's got a real estate license, but he's new to like finding off market deals and whatnot. I think you're gonna find this call super helpful, and we're gonna post it as soon as it's available here on our recording on the cloud. And we're gonna post it to the community. But we're just getting ready to kind of end the call here. And look, RJ's got his little baby over there. But um, Julio, why don't you just kind of share a little bit about yourself? And we're going to get to know you better on next week's call. Before next week's call, I want you to take the time to watch this week's call. You're going to literally get a lot of value. So why don't you kind of start by sharing your current experience and what market you're in and what you're most looking for from the community?
Sure. Well, my name is Julio Ortega. I'm from Wisconsin. My market is based in Wisconsin. I recently started. I'm trying to do with the wholesaling stuff. I did a lot of research already. I already made my first call. I was a little nervous, but I think I did pretty good. I almost got property under contract. The person wanted 150. I make her go 143. For me to be a good deal, it was going to be 132. But once she showed me the pictures, the repair value, it was more than what I was expecting. So she told me 135. I told them I couldn't do more than 120. So that was my first experience with the whole wholesaling thing. And I thought it was going to be worse in the sense that I'm really good talking to people. Like I get comfortable really soon talking to strangers. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So I'm trying to see, I'm trying to collect as much information. I just got the transcript from you guys to make the call calling. I haven't done any call calling yet. My wife is a home care nurse, so she drives around and she finds properties that are pretty messed up, and then she sends me the address, and then I start finding information. But one question I got for you guys, I don't have PropStream yet. I'm gonna get it. How do you find the seller's information, like their phone numbers, the name, and all the stuff?
Absolutely, brother. And we went through this too. And then just show you real quick, and I talked about this on the call as well. I don't know if you saw this particular post, but this is basically everything you need. It's in the cream already. In fact, I'm gonna tag you in this.
Okay.
And so check this out, man. We got it's all here for the community. And I want you to see this, Julio, and Mark as well. When you enter the community, just go to topics.
Topics.
Yeah, go to topics. And then it's organized in such a way. It's like raising private money, creative stuff, wins, the coaching calls, all the recaps are going to be posted there. But resources, where you want to go.
Resources.
Yep. And then you see the very first thing. All right, Cream, here's pretty much everything you need in your real estate business. Boom. Click on that. And it'll take you to the whole post, and then you're going to see. But we have a skip tracing service here for you as well. And they provide data as well. And you're in a really good market. So you want to watch this call because we got really into like talking about what deals to go after and why we target certain homes in certain areas, and really like starting to break down like deal structure. It's like there's a lot of value in this call. So you're going to want to get a skip tracing service. And then if your wife is out there driving around, I don't know if you saw this one, but we have an agreement with the company Deal Machine, and it's an app that your wife can download on her phone. And
Mhm.
then if she sees a house that might need work, all she has to do is take a picture of the house, and it's all wired up to GPS. So it's automatically going to give you the address, and like you can literally skip trace the person with a touch of a button with this Deal Machine. And it's
Deal
made
machine.
for people who, yeah, made for people who are out driving around.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How much do you pay for that service?
I think it's $100, 99
Okay.
bucks. Yeah, it's cheap. We use all of this, and I've shared that with Mark as well. Everything that we promote, we use in our own business. So we're not
Okay.
promoting anything that we don't already use.
All right. We'll keep it in mind.
Yep. But check it out. I think they'll give you a free trial. Dude, just try the free trial. And
Yeah, that's what I.
yeah. And you know what else is with PropStream as well, Mark, you can do this as well. I think they give you a free trial and just let you get in there and download a shitload of leads right off the bat.
7 days.
Yeah, so you're going to want to maximize that stuff.
Nice.
Yep.
So Mr. Mexican Sly shooting assault rifles over there. You came in a little bit late. We're just getting wrapped up. Does anyone have any last minute burning desires they'd like to share?
No.
I got a question before I let you guys go.
Sure.
I was asking Mr. RJ Pepino yesterday on his live. My wife, we bought a house for, I think it was 180K. Right now, the house is valuable at 280K. So I was telling Mr. RJ, if we refinance and they take the equity money out and then we buy another property, how does that work?
What's your current interest rate on the 180?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. So you don't want, I mean, debt is a loaded weapon. It always is, right? I mean, so if your payment is going to go up and then you pull this money out, and then like if you squander that money, now you have more debt, and you know what I mean? Like, so I think that's a great call. It's, like, and I would like to actually start next week's call, or we can create a thread um, on the cream itself, but it'll be really good, better if we talked it all the way through. So what I would like you to do is find out what, and write this down, because this is going to be
Yeah,
okay.
I'm writing down.
Okay. So let me know what the value of the property is. Let me know how long you've been living there. Let me
5
know.
years.
Well, just write it down. Let me know value, what your current mortgage balance is, what your current interest rate is, current payment. And then from there, we will look at alternatives and options, and we will be able to do a full breakdown. That's all I need.
All right, I will get you guys that information for next week, next call that you want me to.
Good. Yeah, make sure you're here. I know it's a little bit earlier. It's 3 o'clock Central, 4 Eastern.
Yeah, that works for me.
Sweet. Looking forward to that. You can bring your wife as well, and then Mark and Julio and anyone, tell your friends. But Julio, go back and watch this call, and it's been real. We'll see you guys soon.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Nice day.
Good evening, guys.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Thanks, RJ.
Bye.